For centuries, the land of Israel has been at the heart of conflicting narratives, with some voices attempting to sever the Jewish people's deep historical and cultural ties to this ancient region. Critics, often motivated by political or ideological agendas, have claimed that the Jewish presence in Israel is a modern construct devoid of ancient roots. Some assert that the Jewish temples never stood on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, while others argue that Jerusalem was never a central city for the Jewish people, attributing its significance solely to other cultures, particularly Islamic ones. These claims aim to rewrite history, but an extraordinary wave of archaeological discoveries, combined with the enigmatic prophecies of Nostradamus, has emerged to affirm the undeniable truth of Israel's ancient presence. From unearthed coins, inscriptions, and structures to the seer's visions of a restored land in the East, the evidence is clear. The Jewish people have a profound, millennia-old connection to the land of Israel, rooted in archaeology, history, and prophetic foresight. The denial of the Jewish temple. One of the most persistent and audacious claims is that the Temple Mount in Jerusalem was never the site of the Jewish temples. Certain authorities and officials have argued that the first temple, traditionally attributed to King Solomon around the 10th century BC, and the second temple rebuilt after the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BC, are historical fabrications with no basis in reality. Some have even claimed that Jerusalem was always a city of primary significance to Islamic culture, despite historical records that tell a different story. The motivation behind these assertions is evident by denying the Jewish connection to the Temple Mount. The historical and cultural claim of the Jewish people to the land can be undermined, reshaping the narrative of the region's past. This denial has not been confined to rhetoric. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, during unauthorized construction work on the Temple Mount by the Islamic Waqf, which oversees the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Dome of the Rock, truckloads of ancient soil were removed from the site and dumped in the Kidron Valley. This soil, rich with artifacts from the First and Second Temple periods, was excavated without archaeological oversight in what many scholars believe was a deliberate attempt to erase evidence of the Jewish presence. The removal of these materials was a calculated effort to obscure historical truths, but the past has a way of resurfacing. The Temple Mount Sifting Project, launched by dedicated archaeologists and volunteers, meticulously sifted through the discarded soil, recovering thousands of artifacts that tell a different story. These include Jewish coins from the First and Second Temple periods, circa 10th century BC, to 1st century AD fragments of pottery, oil lamps, and inscriptions bearing ancient Hebrew script. Among the most significant finds were clay seals known as bul, used to authenticate documents in ancient Judah. Some of these seals bear the names of officials mentioned in historical records, such as an administrator from the court of King Hezekiah, providing a direct link to the documented history of ancient Israel. These artifacts confirm that the Temple Mount was the epicenter of Jewish life and worship for centuries, long before the emergence of Islam in the 7th century AD, directly refuting claims that no Jewish temple ever stood there. Nostradamus, the 16th century French seer, spoke of a sacred place in the East where ancient truths would be revealed, often interpreted as a reference to Jerusalem. In Quatrain 8-59, he writes, "Twice put up and twice cast down, the East will also weaken the West. Its adversary, after several battles chased by sea, will fail at time of need." Some scholars interpret this as an allusion to Jerusalem's contested history and the resurgence of its ancient heritage through discoveries like those from the Temple Mount. These findings align with Nostradamus' vision of a land where hidden truths emerge, challenging false narratives and affirming the Jewish connection to the region, Jerusalem, the city of David. Another falsehood propagated by detractors is that Jerusalem lacks a significant historical connection to the Jewish people. Some assert that Jerusalem was always a city of other cultures, particularly Islamic ones, ignoring the wealth of evidence to the contrary. Historical texts, including the Hebrew Bible, mention Jerusalem over 800 times as the heart of Jewish civilization, while other religious texts, such as the Quran, do not reference it by name. Archaeological excavations in the city of David, located just south of the Temple Mount, have uncovered what many believe to be the remains of King David's palace, dating to around 1000 BC. These ruins include massive stone structures, official government seals, and a bulla bearing the name of Gedaliah, Elisha, son of Pashur, a figure noted in historical records. These discoveries confirm that Jerusalem was the political and cultural capital of ancient Judah, a thriving center of Jewish life. Further evidence comes from the discovery of Hezekiah's tunnel, an engineering marvel that channeled water from the Gihon Spring to the city of David. This tunnel, still intact and accessible today, aligns with historical accounts of King Hezekiah's preparations for a siege around 700 BC. Visitors can walk through this ancient waterway, marveling at the sophistication of ancient Judah's infrastructure. These findings dismantle the narrative that the Jewish people are recent arrivals in Jerusalem, demonstrating their presence in the city for over 3,000 years. Nostradamus' prophecies add a layer of prophetic insight to these discoveries. In Quatrain 228, he writes, "The penultimate of the surname of the prophet will take Diana's day as his day of rest. He wanders far in his frenzy, delivering a great people from subjection." Some interpreters see this as a reference to a leader or movement restoring a great people to their ancestral land, possibly alluding to the Jewish return to Jerusalem. The archaeological evidence combined with Nostradamus' visions underscores Jerusalem's enduring significance as a Jewish city, challenging attempts to rewrite its history. Hebron, the burial place of the patriarchs. The city of Hebron provides further evidence of Israel's ancient roots. Historical records document that Abraham purchased the cave of Machpelah in Hebron as a burial site for his wife Sarah, later joined by patriarchs Isaac and Jacob, as well as their wives Rebekah and Leah. Known today as the Tomb of the Patriarchs, this site has been a place of veneration for millennia. Archaeological surveys confirm that the Herodian enclosure built over the cave dates to the 1st century BC, constructed during the Second Temple period. Excavations in Hebron have also uncovered Bronze Age artifacts, including pottery tools and burial sites, consistent with the period of the patriarchs around 2000 BC. The site's location in modern-day Israel, not elsewhere, reaffirms its historical and cultural significance to the Jewish people. Some narratives attempt to reframe Abraham's legacy, claiming him exclusively for other traditions, but the physical evidence in Hebron tells a different story. The Tomb of the Patriarchs, under heavy guard due to its religious and political sensitivity, remains a tangible link to the founding fathers of the Jewish people. Nostradamus' Quatrain 10-31 states, "The Holy Empire will come to the Hebrews through the southern prince, the law will be held." Some interpret this as a prophecy of the restoration of Jewish heritage in the land, aligning with the enduring significance of Hebron's sacred site. The combination of archaeological evidence and prophetic foresight supports the Jewish connection to this ancient city. The Dead Sea Scrolls, a historical anchor. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947 near the Qumran Caves by the Dead Sea is one of the most significant archaeological finds in history. These manuscripts, dating from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD, contain portions of nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible, as well as other Jewish texts such as the Community, Rule the War Scroll, and the Thanksgiving hymns. They provide a vivid snapshot of Jewish life, worship, and governance in the land, with frequent references to Jerusalem as a central hub and descriptions of a future restoration of the people. Written centuries before the rise of Islam in the 7th century AD, the scrolls confirm the Jewish presence in Israel for over 2,000 years. The scrolls' preservation, hidden in caves during the Jewish revolt of 66-70 AD to protect them from Roman destruction, is remarkable. Their rediscovery in 1947, coinciding with the reestablishment of the modern state of Israel in 1948, adds a layer of significance. Nostradamus' Quatrain 394 states, "For 500 years more one will take notice of him who was the ornament of his time. Then suddenly a great revelation will be made." Some scholars interpret this as a prophecy of ancient texts resurfacing to affirm historical truths, mirroring the scrolls' rediscovery at a pivotal moment in Israel's history. These manuscripts are a powerful rebuttal to claims that the Jewish connection to the land is a modern invention, providing concrete evidence of their ancient presence. Additional archaeological evidence beyond the Temple Mount. Jerusalem, Hebron, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, numerous other archaeological sites across Israel affirm the Jewish people's ancient presence. In Shiloh, the biblical site of the tabernacle before the first temple was built, excavations have uncovered a large complex with altars, storage jars, and evidence of animal sacrifices consistent with historical accounts of early Israelite worship around 1100 BC. These findings confirm Shiloh's role as a major religious center anchoring the narrative of the Jewish people's early history in the land. In the region of Samaria, the Samaria Ostraka pottery fragments, inscribed with administrative records from the 8th century BC, provide evidence of the Northern Kingdom's governance. Written in Paleo-Hebrew, these inscriptions document deliveries of wine and oil to the royal court, aligning with records of prosperity under kings like Jeroboam II. The discovery of these ostraka highlights the organizational sophistication of ancient Israel, further supporting its historical presence. In Tel Dan, northern Israel, the 1993 discovery of the Tel Dan Stele, a 9th century BC inscription, mentions the House of David, one of the earliest non-biblical references to King David's dynasty. Erected by an Aramean king, the stele describes victories over the king of Israel and the House of David, aligning with historical accounts of conflicts between Israel and its neighbors. This find is a cornerstone in confirming the historical existence of David's lineage and its significance in the region. Other sites, such as Tel Megiddo, reveal fortified cities from the 10th to 8th centuries BC with stables, gates, and water systems attributed to the reigns of Solomon and Ahab. In Lachish, a major Judean city, excavations have uncovered defensive walls, a palace fort, and a collection of ostraka known as the Lachish letters, detailing military communications from the 6th century BC. These discoveries, spanning Israel's landscape from the coastal plains to the Judean hills, form a mosaic of evidence that affirms the Jewish people's presence, culture, and governance in the land for over 3,000 years. Each artifact reinforces the historical narrative and echoes Nostradamus' visions of a land where ancient truths endure, despite attempts to obscure them. Nostradamus' prophecies in modern Israel. Nostradamus' prophecies, though often cryptic, frequently point to a restored people in a contested land in the east. In Quatrain 134, he writes, "The bird of prey flying to the left before the conflict is prepared by the French one will take it as good, another as ambiguous. The weaker party will hold it as a good omen." Some scholars interpret this as a reference to the re-establishment of Israel in 1948, a time of conflict and hope, aligning with the return of the Jewish people to their homeland. The revival of the Hebrew language, the restoration of Jerusalem as the capital, and the transformation of barren deserts into fertile fields through innovations like drip irrigation mirror Nostradamus' visions of renewal. In Quatrain 654, he stated, "At the sixth bright celestial light, the great star will burn for 7 days. The cloud will make 2 suns appear. The great mastiff will howl all night." This has been interpreted as a prophecy of a significant event in the Middle East, possibly linked to Israel's modern rebirth and the flourishing of its land. Since 1948, Israel has transformed its landscape, turning arid regions into agricultural hubs, as seen in the Negev desert's blooming fields. These developments resonate with Nostradamus' foresight of a people reclaiming their heritage against great odds. The archaeological evidence from Temple Mount artifacts to the Dead Sea Scrolls supports this narrative, proving the Jewish people's enduring connection to the land. Nostradamus Quatrain 83. "When the sun is in Taurus, the earth will tremble greatly. The great theater filled will be ruined," has been linked by some to upheavals and restorations in the Middle East, reflecting the challenges and triumphs of modern Israel's reestablishment. The power of truth and a call to stand firm. The archaeological discoveries across Israel are far more than historical relics. They are a testament to the enduring truth of the Jewish people's connection to their land, reinforced by the prophetic visions of Nostradamus. Each unearthed coin, inscribed seal, ancient structure, and preserved manuscript is a voice from the past, proclaiming a history that cannot be erased. These findings, paired with Nostradamus' predictions of a restored people in the East, call us to recognize the profound significance of Israel's story. They challenge us to look beyond modern disputes and see the deeper truth of a land tied to its people for millennia, a truth that withstands attempts to rewrite or obscure it. These discoveries should inspire us to stand firm in the pursuit of truth. Nostradamus foresaw a time when ancient realities would resurface, defying efforts to suppress them. In Quatrain 4-95, he writes, "The realm left to 2, they will hold it briefly, 3 years and 7 months past. They will go to war. The 2 Vestals will rebel against them, the victor, born on American soil." Some interpret this as a prophecy of global shifts involving the Middle East, with Israel's resilience at the forefront. The artifacts from Jerusalem. Hebron, Shiloh, and Qumran, and are not just historical curiosities. They are beacons of truth urging us to honor the past and embrace the clarity it brings. Let these findings and prophecies ignite a passion for uncovering and sharing truth. The story of Israel etched in stone and foretold in Nostradamus' quatrains is a narrative of resilience, survival, and renewal. Share this knowledge with others, your family, friends, and community to spark conversations about history, heritage, and the power of prophecy. Stand confidently knowing that the evidence speaks louder than any denial. Nostradamus' visions of renewal and revelation are unfolding before us, urging us to celebrate the triumph of truth over falsehood. Embrace this legacy, let it guide your understanding, and may it inspire you to seek wisdom and clarity in a world often clouded by misinformation. The enduring story of Israel, rooted in archaeology and illuminated by prophecy, stands as a beacon of hope, resilience, and the unyielding power of truth.